But Mark, it's time to end the podcast, and it's the first time I get to say it this way. We get to end the podcast making our picks for week 1 of the NFL season. It is great to finally be making some picks, and we'll get right into it. The first game, a Thursday night matchup. This one I'm a little salty about because I just feel like it should have been Vikings-Eagles on the opening night game, not Falcons-Eagles. Like, come on, what was the sense in that? Kirk Cousins coming to the Vikings would have been a much better game for week 1. But we got Falcons-Eagles Thursday night. The Eagles are only 2-point favorites as we record this on Tuesday night. Who do you got, Falcons and Eagles, to open the year?
It's interesting. I mean, obviously you got Nick Foles out there, which is a completely different situation than having Carson Wentz and no Alshon Jeffrey. So there's some reasons why the Eagles could lose this game. And, a lot of times this Super Bowl champion, they come in here, they play opening day, Thursday night. It's really exciting for them, but that pressure kind of gets to them. And I don't really think that the Eagles are going to lose that many games. But I'm thinking, Ricky, I'm buying it. I think this is going to be one of those games. I'm going to buy that the Atlanta Falcons are going to beat the Nick Foles-led Philadelphia Eagles, maybe kill some of that hype that the backup quarterback got from being Super Bowl MVP. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons on this one.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm going against the line of the favorite being the Eagles, but they're barely the favorite. It is almost a push in this one. I'm going with the Falcons mainly because no Alshon. You don't have Torrey Smith because you traded him this offseason. You don't have Carson Wentz for this one. That's no knock at Nick Foles. That just means Carson Wentz is a really, really, really good quarterback, and the Falcons are one of the best teams. They could be one of the top 2 teams in the NFC this year, going with Atlanta to get the win on the road. Then we move into the Sunday games for this year. And the first one we're going to get to is this one will be a 12 p.m. start. It is the Steelers and the Browns. Who are you going with?
I'm excited for this one. After Hard Knocks, everyone's excited about the Browns as teams. People are always excited about the Hard Knocks team after they're done. But I do think the Browns have enough talent to where maybe they could be good. And if maybe they somehow end up with Des Bryant on the team before Sunday, which if it still hasn't happened yet, I don't really think it's going to at this point. But a lot of things make me want to pick the Browns. But then I remember their quarterback is still Hugh Jackson. And this man is
their quarterback or their coach?
31. Their coach.
Okay. I thought you said quarterback for a second. I was like, he's playing quarterback now?
I might. I mean, he could. Why not? And they got Tyrod Taylor on there. And the knock on Tyrod, of course, is always that he likes his checkdowns. He doesn't take risks. As much as I would like to pick the Browns on this one, I got to go with the Steelers. Hugh Jackson doesn't win games. We all know that. He's only won one. That's it. I'm going with the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, the big question mark for me in this one is there could possibly be no Le'Veon for the Steelers, which I am in agreement.
Seems pretty likely right now.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, by the way, where I can't remember if you said this on Twitter or our group chat. It might have been our group chat, but basically, it could have been on Twitter. Basically, what you said was, it's nice to see Le'Veon stand by his guns, that he's not going to play until he has a new deal. And I'm in agreement. Don't play, if you're on that molehill of I'm not going to play until I get a new contract, don't buckle on that. Although that is a big thing, I still got to go with the Steelers. I know they're only a 3.5-point favorite, which seems kind of low for a Steelers-Browns game, and I know Browns fans are going to be like, hey, we always play the Steelers stuff, and we could beat them in Cleveland. I don't see it happening. I got to go with the Steelers. This Browns team is going to have to prove me wrong a couple times before I start picking them this year. Plus, I feel like there's a good chance this team could go 0-6, and then Todd Haley is the head coach for that Week 7 game against the Buccaneers, so anything can happen. Let's move on to the next one, though. The Bengals will be in Indianapolis taking on the Colts. Who you got?
So I am a believer that Andrew Luck is going to play in this game, and that's all I need. I just need Andrew Luck to play, and it's the Colts.
Yeah,
and I do like the Bengals enough. I mean, I don't like the Bengals, but I think they're a good team this year, a good enough team. But still, Andrew Luck.
Originally, I was giving this one to the Bengals in the offseason because we were unsure about Andrew Luck. But like I've said in podcasts before, Andrew Luck is good enough for 8 wins. It's just how many additional wins can the team around him get? Although there were some fans mad, kind of misconstruing what I was saying, not saying that the whole Colts were trash. I was just saying that the team isn't as good as Andrew Luck should have around him. But I got to go with the Colts in this one. Andrew Luck will get them the win against that Bengals defense. Then if we move on, the next game we got, the Titans will be in Miami to play the Dolphins. Could be a hot one in Miami. I am going to go with the Dolphins at home, although the Titans are a 1.5 point favorite. Who are you going with?
I know that the Titans got some things to get used to with a new coach and new offense and all that. But Tannehill had that big injury, missed a whole year. We don't really know. Is he going to come back the same after that? We haven't fully seen, this Gase Miami team. I just don't know if I'm going to buy it yet. I mean, I have high hopes, but I got to go with a team that I have a little bit more belief in, and that's the kind of new revolutionized Tennessee Titans.
Well, next game, moving right along our list, we've got a 12 p.m. Central Time matchup in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Vikings will play host to one of my most hyped teams in 2018, the San Francisco 49ers. And in this one, I know I've said that, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go 19-0 and he's never going to lose a game. But that ain't going to happen. The Vikings get the win in this one. Skull all the way. What are you thinking about this one, Mark?
Pretty easy. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback. They've got a good team that they're putting together. I mean, Richard Sherman's there. There's nice stuff. But it comes down to just Minnesota's just a much better team. And, you get injuries to the 49ers that are kind of killing some hype. And there's just no reason why, as much as I would like to say the 49ers can win, there's just no reason why I can pick them here. Got to go with the Vikings.
Well, and the next one, we've got a really good matchup between the Texans and the Patriots in Foxborough. Patriots are about a 6.5 point favorite. I will ask you first, Patriots defend home field, or do the Texans get another win, this time with Deshaun Watson against the Patriots?
I think that this one has a lot of scare potential for the Patriots. I think this will be a close game, especially with Deshaun Watson going out there wanting to make his comeback and show everybody that, hey, I may have gotten hurt, but I'm coming out here to finish what I started last year. But I can't pick against the Patriots. I can't do it. There's too much uncertainty with some injuries and injury concerns with the Texans, and even though they were really hot offensively and got a really great defense, they still had some issues as a team last year. So I got to see some of those things get answered before I'm going to get really confident in them. I don't know who Tom Brady's really going to be throwing the ball to this year. I don't really know how that defense is going to perform without Matt Patricia, but I got to believe in Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. So Patriots.
I was completely wrong, by the way. I am still looking back. The last time the Texans have beaten the Patriots was, I'm going to go back a year or two more, 2014 it didn't happen. Yeah, by 2013 they still have not won a game against the Patriots. I thought they had won last year against the Patriots, but I was mistaken in that one. Deshaun Watson did not get the win against New England, but he's going to get the win this year. I am going with the Texans to walk into Foxborough, beat the Patriots. The Patriots, they're not going to lose many games, but they'll lose some, and this will be one of them that they lose with this Texan team that wants to start off on the right foot.
You want that ESPN panic is what you're going for.
No, I do. And it showed last year. The Patriots, I mean, maybe it was a Super Bowl hangover with winning and like the whole the celebration probably rubbed the Chiefs the wrong way, where they were like, oh, look at this, and we have Mark Wahlberg here, and they kept playing the score. What was it, like 23-7 or 27-7 or something like that? And it's basically like, okay, we get it. Why are you doing this? And a drunk Robert Kraft was there. But I'm going to go with the Texans to get the win over the Patriots. Next game, this one's easy for me. Saints win in New Orleans. The Bucs aren't going to win many games this year, especially they ain't beating the Saints, especially without Jameis Winston.
Yep. I mean, I love the Saints this year. I loved them last year too, but yeah, this is a big one for the Saints. I'm going to roll with them, and no reason why the Bucs should win.
And then an interesting one, we've got the Jaguars going up against the New York Football Giants. The Jags are 3-point favorites in the Meadowlands. Who are you going with, the Jags or the G-Men in Week 1?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's that interesting. I mean, the Jaguars are a much better team on every front.
Well, until they get injured, kiss of death style.
That's true. That is very true. It's possible that it can happen, but even if you think that new coaching is going to help out the New York Football Giants, it's going to take a little bit to get into it, I think. So, yeah, I got to roll with the steamrolling Jaguars.
By the way, I'm going to give some fantasy insider information to everybody listening. If you are a owner of Leonard Fournette, I would trade him today. And the reason why I'm saying that is not only did I pick the Jaguars to win the Super Bowl, which the kiss of death has already claimed victims as Marquise Lee, and I apologize for that because that happened on the Thursday after the kiss of death. Dave Oster in our personal league, if you guys are new and do not know this, Dave's teams is always riddled with injuries. He had Deshaun Watson, who was injured last year. The year that Nate Keating got injured on the opening kickoff of the year, he was Dave's kicker. Tom Brady, when he went down for the year, he was on Dave's team. Dave's team is always riddled with injuries, so because of that fact and the kiss of death, I kind of am worried for Leonard Fournette and should probably send him a letter to let him know to be careful this year. So if you're a Leonard Fournette owner, be wary this season. But moving on to the next game, another easy one, I think, in Baltimore. The Ravens should get an easy win, probably get about 5 picks in the game because Nathan Peterman is starting. No way the Bills beat the Ravens.
And the Ravens got a good defense, so
they
I mean
do.
It's gonna be rough for them. Yeah, Ravens all the way.
And just because I'm filling out our pick sheet, you said the Jags over the G-Men, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I thought you did, but I was like, I should double check. Next game, we finally get into the late afternoon ones. Who you got? Are you going to bolt up, Mark, or are you going to go with the KC Chiefs?
I'm going to bolt up. Despite some injury issues, for my bolt ups because I couldn't think of the word Chargers for some reason. I have to go with him. I still believe in Philip Rivers. I drafted Keenan Allen, so I'm going to, of course, believe in him in fantasy. But, no, I just think that this team, even though it can be a tough one, this is a good chance for them to kind of make their statement and say, we've got one of the best pass rushes out there. We've got a great quarterback who never gets the love that he deserves, and just so many great weapons offensively. They can get it done.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. I am not going to buy in on the Patrick Mahomes hype until I see some wins in the win column for the Chiefs with him at quarterback, and I don't think it'll happen week 1 against the Chargers. The next game, we've got the Seahawks going into Mile High to play the Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos. I'm not too high on the Seahawks coming into this year. What are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to agree with you on this one, but I'm not too high on them either. And And, you got to ask yourself a simple question. Is this a home game or is this an away game? And it's an away game for Seattle. So, going to go ahead and give it to the Broncos.
Well, and then the next game, we've got the Redskins going into Glendale, Arizona to play the Cardinals. The Cardinals are only a 1-point favorite, so this is the closest I believe we've gotten to a push. I think the only other one was like 1.5. But I'm going with the Redskins only because I'm not too high on the Cardinals. I know Cardinal fans are telling me I'm wrong, but until I am proven wrong, I am going to go against them. I just like the quarterback is better for the Redskins. The wide receivers, although they got Larry Fitzgerald, that's pretty much all they have in Arizona for me. David Johnson coming back will be a boost. It's a definite win there over the Redskins, but I feel like overall Alex Smith will be able to do enough to get the win in Arizona. What are you thinking when it comes to this game?
Well, I'd be okay with that because, speaking of my fantasy team, Alex Smith is going to be my week 1 quarterback because Carson Wentz isn't playing. But anyways, I do think this is probably one of the toughest ones for me coming into this. I like what they've got going on. I like what Alex Smith can do for the Redskins. But I do think that this team with Sam Bradford for the Arizona Cardinals are going to do pretty well because I like Sam Bradford as a quarterback. And he's got a great connection with Larry Fitzgerald. David Johnson's going to do good things for him too. Defense isn't quite what it was, but that's okay. They'll still be able to compete because it's not like they have an absolutely stunning offense in Washington. So it's a close one, but I'm going to go ahead and say Sam Bradford shows people why he's starting instead of Josh Rosen and gets a win.
And then our last late afternoon game, it will be the Cowboys going into Charlotte, North Carolina, Bank of America Stadium. The Panthers are 3-point favorites, and this was literally the only toss-up I had where I had to flip a coin. And I am going to go with the Panthers in this one. Cowboys will be a good team. They will get wins, but it will not be this one. Cam Newton and company get the win at home over Dak and Du Bois.
Yeah, I think that home game part is going to be pretty important for Carolina. I do like what they have, but at the same time, I think that Dak Prescott kind of, didn't impress people in his second year quite like he did his first.
Well, he didn't have Zeke for 6 games.
For sure. I mean, that's a big part of it. And there was always the big question marks of when is he going to be gone, when is he not going to be gone. But Zeke wants to come back too because that threw off his rhythm. He didn't perform the way he should have. There's only, 2 Pro Bowlers on this offensive line now instead of the usual 3 or 4, whatever it is that they have. So, some people might want to think that the Cowboys are down a little bit, but I still think that this can be a good year for them, and I'm going to let them go ahead and go into Carolina and get this win.
Well, and then we've got our Sunday night game. I am going to be honest. I am going with the Packers. I think they will win at home against I believe this is the home game for the Packers. It is in Lambeau Field. The Bears offense is the question mark for me, and I don't think that it will be ready week 1 against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers will win the Packers this game. And Mark, now it's your job to tell me why this Bears team will get the win because they've got Khalil Mack.
Well, I was going to say, Ricky, I don't know if you've heard this, but there was a big trade that happened this weekend. Bears traded for Khalil Mack from the Raiders, and Aaron Rodgers is very scared. It's been said that he hasn't left his house since the trade went down. People are trying to call him, but it's just he's not picking up.
Radio silent from the Rodgers house.
Exactly.
Have you tried calling Danica Patrick? Maybe she can get in touch with him.
She might be able to. I'm not sure. You can't call his mom. They don't talk. But for me, it just comes down to one simple thing. Yes, it's a primetime game, and the Chicago Bears traditionally do very poorly in primetime when it comes to playing the Packers. But here's some extra motivation. Khalil Mack doesn't need to know a playbook. He's just going to be told, if you see a guy in green, you hit him, and you hit him hard, especially if he's got a ball in his hand. And Khalil Mack's going to say, all right. Then what's really going to happen is they're going to dedicate some attention in their new blocking tight ends that they got, which a nice thing about that is that means that other receiving tight end they have that they're excited about, Jimmy Graham, I don't think he's going to get to play very much because there's going to be a lot of focus on stopping Khalil Mack. And Roquan Smith gets to go out there and have his first game. There's a lot of great stuff going on this defense and a lot of great players. I think they're going to be able to get to Aaron Rodgers quite a bit. And you're completely right, and everybody is completely right who's been saying it, that the question mark is the offense. Because you have a second-year quarterback who didn't get to play the whole year last year. He was very handcuffed, I should say, with poor play calling from John Fox's terrible offense. And now you have something completely different. But even though I can fully expect that if the Bears get the ball first, the first thing they do is, it's like when you're playing Madden and you just go 4 vertical immediately. I can see it happening because they want to be aggressive. But I think that the Bears, if they're smart, they lean on Jordan Howard. They just be smart with the football right now. Don't expect tons and tons out of Mitch Trubisky and Allen Robinson and Taylor Gabriel and all these big new weapons. Just be smart. Build the confidence because that defense is going to keep the game close. Something that Chicago Bears fans have not seen in a long time is a close game against the Packers. Of course, with that exception being a couple of years ago, Jay Cutler beating the Packers on Brett Favre Day on Thanksgiving. That was a wonderful day for all of Chicago. But anyways, it really just comes down to that. The defense is going to keep the game close, so the offense needs to be smart. If they go out there and they're just throwing it all over everybody, unless I'm a little off on my Trubisky development chart and he is ready to go out there, sling it, and throw for 5,000 yards, they need to be smart because that's going to lead to mistakes and that's going to lead to some issues and a Bears loss probably. But if they go and they just lean on the running game, build the confidence of the quarterback and the new wide receivers, and just let it slowly develop into what it can be, that's how the Chicago Bears go into Lambeau and steal a win. Is it very likely? No, because I think it's more likely the Bears and the Packers split. But I got to do it because 16-0, Chicago Bears. I'm going to take the Bears.
And then there were two. We've got the 2 Monday night games. The first one, we've already talked about one of these teams today on the podcast. The New York Football Jets go into Detroit to play the Lions. Friend of the podcast, Lions guy, might be a little upset because I am changing my pick on the podcast. Jets get the win over the Lions week 1.
Nice. I think it'll be close, but I'm not willing to do that just yet. I like what they've got. I always like your chance when you got Matthew Stafford because all you got to do is keep it close. And you got a rookie out there. So I think it's going to be close, at least. Unless the Lions go out there and just blow the Jets out of the water, which I don't really expect to have happen. But if it's even just close in the fourth quarter, I'm going to believe that Matthew Stafford can get it done. So I'll make Mike feel neutral about our podcast, and I'll pick the Lions.
And then the last game, I feel like this will be the easy one, even though it's in Oakland. The Rams and the Raiders. And we talked about the Raiders earlier. I think the Rams are much better of a football team than John Gruden's Oakland Raiders. And I'm going to go with the LA Rams to get the win on Monday night.
As am I. I mean, I don't even need to really say anything about it. It's the Rams. It's obvious. One of these teams lost a top 3 pass rusher in Khalil Mack. The other one ensured that it was going to have theirs. No, I said the other one ensured that they're going to have theirs by paying them.
True.
Highest paid player in the NFL for about a day.
True.
Aaron Donald. And that's a big part. That's going to be very tough for that Raiders team to deal with. So, yeah, Rams.
And then, Mark, the last thing we are going to do is because of things that have happened, guys got cut that we might have expected to be on teams, trades have happened with teams. I am going to ask you this. We did our hold us to them predictions. Right here, the last possible choice we have or chance we have to change anything. Are there any amendments you want to make to any of your hold us to them predictions that we made?
Really, the thing for me comes down to this. It's kind of tough, before I had the Packers and the Vikings and the Cowboys and all these teams in here and stuff like that. My AFC, I'm not going to really touch my AFC. I'm going to leave it the same. Even though I think that, maybe the Titans could lose out a little bit, or maybe a team can win or lose another game or two, because not the biggest thing in the world, but, Marquise Lee not being there, I do think that is a loss for the Jaguars, but it's not like it's going to knock them out of the playoffs. The thing that I have going for me at the moment is this difficult piece to the puzzle. So, I didn't have the Falcons in there. They were not a playoff team for me. But I think that they can probably squeeze out another win and maybe get into the playoffs. So the Falcons, I think, can maybe get it done, especially as they're going to be, they get to go out there and kind of impress people. And now originally I was thinking the Eagles would win that first one. Flipping it over to the Falcons for that win, I think that can maybe turn some things, especially with something else that's going to happen. This is the big one. So as I sit here with all my Chicago Bears fandom, and I have the Bears at 16-0, undefeated for the regular season, obviously. But when it comes to their division games, I mean, I have to sit here and say Khalil Mack, without a doubt, is worth at least 2 wins in a season. He's at least worth 2 wins. And I already had the Bears at I think I have them at maybe 6-10, but probably 7-9 is probably what I had them at. So 2 wins, where are those wins going to come from? I mean, probably splitting with the Packers now. So winning their home game against the Packers. And they always play the Vikings tough. They always do. You even as the Viking fans are willing to admit that. So I think they might be able to split with the Vikings now. But even if they don't, I have them splitting, I believe, with the Lions. But I sit here now and I'm like, I think they can sweep the Lions. I think they can go ahead and do it. And Lions fans will be mad at me and they'll be like, oh, we beat you all these times. And I don't care. It's different. It's a different team now. I think it'll be a big deal for that. So I think that'll be a sure thing. But then there's also some of those other games that they have where, a game against the Dolphins that the Bears, that was kind of like it could go either way, or a Cardinals game that could maybe go either way. I sit there and I think, now I don't see a reason why the Bears should lose either one of those games. I don't think that the Cardinals can protect Sam Bradford well enough, and their defense isn't going to stop this offense. I don't think that the Miami Dolphins are going to really have an answer offensively for this Chicago Bears pass rush that suddenly exists. I sit there and I look at things like that and I say, those games that were question marks, they're not question marks for me anymore. They're sure thing type of games. So Ryan Pace made this move to say, this team isn't rebuilding anymore. We are a playoff team now. And I give a couple of those wins over, and all of a sudden the Chicago Bears are 9-17. 9-17 here, and that's good enough based on tiebreakers and things like that. That is good enough to knock the Packers just out of the playoffs. And that alone goes ahead and also could maybe knock out the Cowboys out of the playoffs as well. Maybe the Cowboys get in there instead of the Packers. I haven't completely looked at exactly all the tiebreakers and all that to know exactly which one of these teams are going to get in there. But I know I have enough to where the Bears can be that number 6 seed in the playoffs. They could probably bounce the Packers out of it. which is going to make a lot of Green Bay fans.
How many wins do you have the Bears at?
9-7.
Okay. All right.
9-7. They get in. But the thing too is, I had the Cowboys in there as well before too. I think the Cowboys were 9-17 as well. So those two teams can be in above a Green Bay Packers, or if the tiebreakers work out just a little differently, because, like I said, I didn't have a chance to look at everything to make sure.
Yeah.
But that would then possibly leave 3 teams from the NFC North into the playoffs and bounce the Cowboys out instead of bouncing the Packers out. So I do think that I'm not sitting here guaranteeing it, but this is our, you can go ahead and hold me to this. I have the Bears in as a playoff team now.
Yeah, I think that is your orange and blue goggles kind of playing into that, because I
just imagine you had a top 10 defense last year. Khalil Mack makes this defense probably a top 5 defense. And I know that everyone's saying the question marks are on offense. That's fine. I can agree with that. But the offense isn't bad.
It's not bad, but like my John Maddenism that I like to do is you got to score points to win the game. Boom, John Madden.
Did you ask Blake Bortles last year if he needed to score points to win games? How about Nick Foles?
You still got to score points to win games, and that's the thing where I'm not saying the Bears are going to never score points, but that offense is, for me, how I look at it, and I'll start with the Bears first because their record did change. I have them at 7-9, so exactly like you said, 2 wins for Khalil Mack. They went from 5 to 7 wins for me, and that's, to me, where it goes. Another reason why I look at it and go, for your 9-7 playoffs is because I feel like a 10-6 is the line to get in the playoffs in the NFC, and we'll have to wait and see. For me, the
NFC is too good for that in my eyes.
The only thing that I am changing is on the AFC side. I've got the Jets moving up. They're now 6-10. Because of that, the Bills are now 2-14. Basically, Nathan Peterman. The Jets will sweep the Bills. Bills are 2-14. I'm also going to go shocker and say that the Jet game that both the Patriots and the Jets were coming off of the bye, I am going to give that to the Jets, and the Patriots will then lose a game. So my only changes are Jets go to 6-10, Bills go to 2-14, Patriots go to 11-5, and them and the Steelers swap. The Steelers will be the 2nd seed. Patriots will be the 3rd seed. However, nothing changes. Broncos beat the Chargers. The Patriots will now beat the Colts in Foxborough. Patriots beat the Steelers because it doesn't matter where that game is played. The Patriots will win. Patriots, Jaguars move on. In the NFC, Bears move to 7-9. The 49ers will move to 9-7. And the only thing that changes in my playoffs is that the Saints will get in. The 6th seed now becomes the Saints. However, that doesn't change anything in my NFC. The Rams were going to beat the 49ers. I got the Rams at home beating the Saints. Packers move on. Falcons, Vikings in the Super Bowl, and the Jaguars still win the Super Bowl. The kiss of death stays with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but those are kind of the little things that I am changing before we get into this NFL season. Want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast this week. If you would so kindly, I didn't do this at the beginning of the show, I'll do it at the very end. Make sure to go ahead and support us on Patreon. You can also join a podcast if you're at the $10 reward each and every month you are at it. Make sure to go get yourself an MVP t-shirt. That is down below in the description. You can also get it at mostvaluablepodcast.com, where you can get your MVP each and every day. And then, like I said earlier, make sure to go to iTunes. Even if you're on YouTube, make sure to go to iTunes. Please give us a 5-star rating and let us know why you like listening to the podcast each and every week. That is going to do it for the onside kick this week. We can't wait to talk about football next week after we finally get some regular season games under our belt for 2018. I want to thank you guys for listening on YouTube this week. Hopefully we'll be back on video next week for you guys. And as always, thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. But the big, as always, have a good day, everybody.